The chair next to me moved, like someone was sitting there. My name is Lucas Miller, a traveler from Oregon who enjoys journeying alone. I usually pick small towns with long histories because there's always something intriguing. Old buildings, local museums, or just the stories of the people who live there, making me feel connected to the place. This trip took me to a quiet coastal town in Northern California, known for its foggy beaches and cozy little inns. I arrived in the late afternoon, just as the sun began to dip, its light slicing through the thin veil of fog hanging in the air. The town was peaceful. Cobblestone streets, wooden shops glowing with warm yellow lights, and the crisp scent of the sea immediately made me feel at ease. The inn I chose was called Harbor Mist Inn, a two-story vintage building with a small lobby and woven chairs. At first glance, it seemed perfectly ordinary, quiet, welcoming, and a little dated. The owner, a kindly older man named Mr. Caldwell, greeted me with a warm smile. He showed me the room I would be staying in for 3 nights. The room was small but comfortable. Wooden walls with subtle lines, a large window overlooking the ocean, and 2 wooden chairs by a tiny desk. The first night passed without incident. I read a book, sipped the hot chocolate I made using the room's kettle, and sat in one of the chairs watching the fog swirl outside the window. Nothing unusual happened. No strange noises. No unsettling feeling at all. It was the perfect holiday. Quiet, peaceful, and deeply relaxing after a grueling few weeks at work. Before going to bed, I even thought to myself, finally, the peaceful getaway I hoped for. Little did I know that peace would last only one night, and starting tomorrow, the empty wooden chair next to me would never feel truly empty again. I noticed it on the second night. At first, the day went normally. I strolled along the pier, bought handcrafted items from local vendors, and inhaled the fresh, salty air. The town felt safe and serene. There was no sign that something unusual awaited me that night. But when I returned to the inn, one small thing made me pause at the doorway. The wooden chair that usually sat to the left of the desk had shifted a few inches to the right, as if someone had just pulled it out to sit and then pushed it back in hastily. I was certain I had left it exactly where it was. I tried to dismiss it. Maybe housekeeping had moved it while tidying up. After all, it was trivial. I didn't want to ruin my vacation by overthinking small things. That evening, I made a warm drink and sat in my usual chair. The ocean breeze made the curtains sway gently. The room's light reflected on the wooden walls, giving the space a cozy cabin-like warmth. Then it happened. The thing that made my skin crawl instantly. The chair next to me moved, slowly, very slowly, as if someone were pulling it out to sit. At first, I only heard it. Creak, creak. The unmistakable sound of chair legs scraping the wooden floor. Clear, unambiguous, not masked by the wind. Then I saw it. The chair inched about an inch closer, directly toward me. For a few seconds, I froze. My hot drink trembled in my hands. My heart pounded so violently I could feel it in my palms. I tried to find a rational explanation. Wind, vibration from outside. But there was no breeze in the room, and the floor was far too heavy for minor vibrations to move the chair. I summoned the smallest bit of courage. "Hello?" I whispered, though I knew perfectly well no one was there. No answer. Yet the chair seemed to respond on its own, stopping just at a distance that made it feel like someone genuinely intended to sit. I swallowed hard, trying to calm myself. Maybe the floor was uneven. Maybe it was just coincidence. maybe I was too tired after a long day. But the more I tried to reassure myself, the stronger the unease grew in my chest. There was something in the room, something I couldn't see, but could feel. That night, for the first time since I arrived, I no longer felt alone. The feeling didn't disappear, even when the sun rose the next morning. I should have felt relieved after sleeping, but instead, I woke up with a heavy head and a tight chest, like I'd been watched all night. I sat at the edge of the bed, staring at the chair now back in its original place, neat, straight, as if it had never moved an inch. "It's real," I whispered to myself. I saw it with my own eyes. Yet a part of me tried to reason. Maybe I was just tired. Maybe it was a trick of the night. But one detail made me doubt my own thoughts. The small scratch on the floor had shifted. The scratch I'd seen under the chair last night had moved a few centimeters, tracing the path the chair had taken. It was too precise to be an illusion. That day, I left early, wandering farther than usual. Beaches, old lighthouse, local market, anything to keep my mind off what had happened. Yet strangely, every place I visited felt empty, like I wasn't just being followed by a shadow, but observed. Even sitting alone at a beachfront cafe, the chair across from me felt significant, as if waiting for someone to sit there, or something. Amid the growing unease, I made a decision. I had to find out what was really happening at the inn. I didn't want to spend the rest of my vacation in fear and speculation. I wanted answers, a logical explanation, anything that made sense. Back at Harbor Mist Inn, I went straight to the lobby and asked Mr. Caldwell, "Sir, may I ask you something?" "Of course," he replied kindly. "How can I help?" I hesitated. Has anything unusual ever happened in my room? Anything out of the ordinary? His expression changed for just a moment. Fleeting, nearly imperceptible, but enough to make me shiver. A brief silence passed before he answered, "Nothing to worry about, Lucas. Guests usually enjoy the peace here." Too quick, too rehearsed, but I didn't press him, at least not yet. On the third night, I returned to my room, half prepared to face whatever might happen. If there was something there, I wanted to see it myself. I switched on the desk lamp, made a warm drink, and sat in my chair, trying to appear calm even as my stomach knotted. And just as I inhaled deeply, the chair moved again. This time, clearer, slower, more deliberate. The scraping sound cut through the room's silence, forcing me upright and holding my breath. Then when it stopped, I saw it. The chair hadn't just moved. It had turned slightly toward me, like someone had just sat down and pivoted to face me. I gripped my chair's armrest, tense. "Who or what wants to sit here?" I whispered, barely audible. No answer, just silence, and the sense that something was right there, so close I could feel its presence in the air. And that night, I realized one crucial thing. Whatever was moving that chair didn't want me to leave. It wanted me to understand. That's what turned the once cozy inn into a room that seemed to watch my every move. And that's what made me take the bravest step I've ever taken. I would no longer shy away from whatever was happening in this room. I wanted to know, even if I was afraid. A strange mix that made my heartbeat erratic. I stood slowly, trying to steady my breath. "You want to show me something?" I asked hesitantly, my voice barely louder than the soft scrape of fabric. The chair was still, but the air around it shifted, colder, thicker, as if someone stood there unseen. I took a step closer, and suddenly the desk lamp flickered. Once, twice, then went out. Darkness swallowed the room. I froze, unable to move. I stood in the middle of the room, only the faint light from outside filtering through the curtains. Then I heard something. A breath, right beside me, right at the chair. A heavy, long exhale, like someone who'd wanted to speak for ages but had always held back. I am here, I whispered, swallowing hard. If you want me to understand, show me how. Then something made my body tingle from head to toe. The chair slid back, as if someone was standing up from it. Slowly, very slowly, as if rising right next to me. My heart felt like it was in my throat. This wasn't just a moving chair, it was a presence, an unseen figure. The chair then rotated slightly toward the window, then stopped. I froze. Do you want me to look outside? I asked. No answer. But the curtain fluttered softly, though the window was closed tight. I approached the window with trembling hands. As I pulled the curtain aside, my heart skipped. In the glass, a faint shadow, not mine, stood right beside me. Not a clear form, just a pale silhouette, like a reflection of something that wasn't actually in the room. Panicked, I stepped back a few paces. My breath caught. What do you want from me? Then the chair moved once more, this time toward the small desk, and stopped directly in front of a drawer. A drawer I had never opened since checking in, as if it were the last choice, as if this was what the owner of the chair had meant all along. One final goal, one last answer. Hands trembling, I reached for the drawer. I knew whatever I found would change everything. I will open it, I whispered. If this is what you want. I pulled the drawer slowly, and the moment it opened, just a crack. The chair beside me slid closer, as if the unseen figure leaned forward, waiting for what was inside. Inside the drawer, I saw something that made my chest tighten and my eyes well up. A photograph of a young man seated in the exact same chair beside me, and on the back, the date of his death. The same date I had arrived. And in that moment, the entire room seemed to hold its breath with me. My hands shook as I held the photo. The young man in it smiled gently, softly, like someone who never expected life to end too soon. There was something familiar about his face, perhaps the light, perhaps his expression, as if I had seen him somewhere before, even though I knew I hadn't. When I flipped the photo over, the chair moved again, this time softer, as if the presence wasn't there to scare me, but to plead. It seemed to say, "Please, see me." I took a deep breath. My voice was barely audible. "It's you, isn't it?" No reply. But the air beside me seemed to tense, like a presence affirming me. I looked at the photo again, noticing another handwritten note below the death date. Never found. My heart skipped. So, he had disappeared? No burial? No closure? And suddenly, everything that had happened in the room made sense. The chair moving as if someone sat. The chair turning, pointing toward the window. Even the soft exhale. He didn't want to scare me. He wanted to be seen. He wanted to be understood. And maybe he wanted to go home. I looked at the chair. Do you want me to do something? To deliver a message? Or help you be found? The desk lamp flickered on by itself. Bright, steady, no blinking. The answer? Yes. I knew what I had to do. Fear still coursed through me, but a newfound resolve rose at the same time. If this spirit had waited all this time for someone to uncover the truth, I would be that person. I took the photo and stood in front of the chair. "Please, show me how," I whispered. Then something subtle but powerful happened that sent shivers down my spine. The chair rotated slightly toward the door, as if telling me to step outside, as if this journey wasn't over yet. I nodded. All right, I will help you. I opened the door. The hallway air felt different, colder, yet somehow lighter, and that confirmed I had made the right choice. As I stepped out, the chair moved one last time, slowly, calmly, like a figure rising behind me, then walking with me. I closed the door carefully, clutching the photo, and whispered, trembling but determined, "Let's finish this together." From that moment, everything felt far calmer than before. I walked down the dim corridor with the photo in hand. Strangely, each step felt lighter, as if a burden that wasn't mine had been lifted. The presence that had once been tense now felt gentle, not a shadow following, but a companion guiding me. I reached the lobby and showed Mr. Caldwell the photo. His expression shifted immediately, not fear, but a deep, long-suppressed sorrow. "He stayed here years ago," he said softly. "He left in the afternoon and never returned." I sat in the lobby chair, which felt warm, as if someone were beside me. "Wasn't anyone looking for him?" "Of course," he said, eyes glistening. "His family searched every day, but they never knew where he disappeared." I studied the photo again. Maybe he wanted his family to know what happened, or at least that he made it here. Mr. Caldwell nodded slowly, as if understanding something deeper than words. He picked up the office phone, his voice trembling, and began contacting the young man's family. I was certain of it. As he spoke, I felt the air beside me shift. Not cold, not heavy, more like relief. When the call ended, Mr. Caldwell lowered his face briefly, then looked at me. "They've waited for news all these years. Thank you for finding him." I just gave a small, uncertain smile, but my body felt warm, as if the room were filled with light, even though the lamps were ordinary. Suddenly, the chair moved one more time, very slowly, very subtly, only a few centimeters, like someone rising from it. Not restless this time, but calm, ready to continue their journey. I couldn't see the form, but I knew he was smiling. I could feel it. For the last time, I whispered, "You're found. You're home." The air beside me warmed, then slowly vanished. No pressure, no shadow, no unseen breath, just peaceful silence. That night, for the first time since I arrived, I slept without feeling watched. No chair moved, no sound at all. Only gratitude and a warmth that couldn't be explained. The lesson I learned. My time at Harbor Mist Inn taught me something I never expected on a vacation. Not everyone who appears wants to scare you. Some just want to be seen. Some just want their voice heard. And sometimes, being willing to listen, even in fear, can change someone's fate, even after they're no longer visible. Before leaving town the next day, I looked at the small inn one last time. There was a warmth I couldn't explain, like a silent thank you that was clearly felt. I smiled and walked away. The quiet getaway I had expected turned out to be the most significant story of my life. A story about an empty chair that was never truly empty.